for this interview. I have the pleasure to introduce to you today Maria Platusic. I hope I got it right.
Yes.
Maria is a branding designer and a brand strategist, and I'm very excited to discovering and learning more about branding and about what it is that she does. So, Maria, without further ado, could you tell us a bit more about yourself, what you do, and which kind of person, of people you're working with?
For sure. Thank you so much for having me, Madeline. This is super fun. I'm super excited to be here today. And hello, everyone. So yes, so I am Maria Platusic. I am the owner and creative director behind Platusic Design Creative Studio. I am a branding designer and brand strategist and WordPress magic maker. I've been at this game for about 20 plus years, working at corporate to now working for small businesses. I help people, small businesses, multifaceted entrepreneurs, normally serial entrepreneurs, with their brand strategy first and foremost. They usually have like some complexity to behind who they are, and I try to create simplicity for them via the brand strategy, which helps with things like their ideal target audience, their competition, their positioning, their messaging, and what their future goals are. So where they foresee themselves, moving down the line, right? What their future goals are. And then once we have that data, I'm able to create a brand that represents them best because I'm basing it off of that information and where they are headed in their business. And then it's, a brand that will represent them for many years, not just the Band-Aid approach to work right now, but it's always the big picture, thinking of the big picture. And plus I help them with their implementation as well. So if they need help with their website, if they need help with social media templates, if they need help with marketing collateral, I'm kind of like their brand ambassador from start to finish. I like to make sure that their brand is cohesive throughout. So that's essentially what I do in a nutshell.
Okay, very interesting. So first of all, let me start with saying that you said you had 20 years in business, and you don't look at all like somebody who's 20 years in business. You look a lot younger than that to me. So I was amazed when you said that. So yeah, and then, so you said you work with small business owners and sometimes serial entrepreneurs as well. So I guess it's men and women alike.
So funny, I think it's like the energy you put out there is what you attract, and I'm a firm believer of that. So for me, it's majority is female, but I do have some male clients as well. It's just I'm a firm believer of supporting women and lifting them up and helping them succeed. And because those are my beliefs, that's what I push out there a lot, I guess. But I'm not going to not help, a male business organization.
Yeah, no, of course.
But
You
yeah,
don't
that's
want to
kind of
exclude
been
them.
my target. Yes.
Okay. So mostly female
Yes.
entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Okay, so when they come to you, are they at the start of their business, or maybe they are already a bit further down the road, but they need to review it, or in which stages are they generally?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So for me, I usually am more of the rebrand specialist or the repositioning specialist, because when you're first starting out, you don't necessarily have all that data or the data that I need to build that foundation off of. So I help those that are looking to up level or get to that next level, or have recently pivoted, or are changing their business name, or are just looking to attract a different audience. Those are the types of clientele that I help with the rebranding process, so that it doesn't have to be daunting or overwhelming. It can actually be invigorating and like a rebirth for them, and just it's a really wonderful experience overall. That's the objective anyways.
Yeah, okay, good. So more the entrepreneurs who already started and are further down the road and are rebranding. That's interesting. Could it be also that when somebody starts as a new business owner, it doesn't feel that important to them, or maybe that's not where they spend their money, because they just, get quick logos and maybe a quick website as well. But then they realize that there's a lot more to branding than a quick fix like that, and then that's when they come to you. But is it possible?
Yes, no, that's pretty accurate. Not to say that I haven't helped startups. Like I've helped startups who have the research, so they've done like the market research. Mostly, like it's how can I put this? When you're product based, it's easier for you to understand the importance of branding because you know that the product is the visual that people are going to be seeing in the store, on the shelf, or
Yeah.
online, right? So when it's product based, it's easier to help those with their branding because they realize the importance of it right away. And as you said, when first starting out, you have to wear all the hats. So there's so many things to learn and know and do, and so many directions that you're being pulled in that, I'm a firm believer, especially when you're first starting out, to just begin. Like just
Yeah.
get out there and just start because you don't have to wait till it's perfect. You can definitely just begin, and then gather that data and gather that information and realize what stage you're at, and you can still go make money and still create business and still have clients, and then when you're ready for that level, then that's when I kind of hop into the picture.
Okay. Yeah, that's very clear. Thank you. So, tell us a bit more about your story. So, you said 20 years, but so where did you start? Your career, and how did it evolve to what you are doing now?
Yes, that's a great question. So basically, to put it in perspective, I'm a textbook case. So I went to school for advertising and graphic design, and a third year for electronic publication. And from that, then I went straight into agency work. So I worked at small agencies first, and then I went to pretty big corporate agencies afterwards. And I gained a wealth of knowledge and experience that way. So from there, my story, in me, I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but it was kind of hard to get started or to, I guess, dive into it all because it's kind of easier just working for an agency and you get paid and you can come home and clock off, get clock off, and then you don't have to worry about anything anymore, right? So when you're an entrepreneur, it's a whole
It's a
different world.
complete different story. Yeah,
A very
yeah.
different world. So for me, then it was just shortly after my second child was born, my son, that I got laid off at my corporate agency job. They had to downsize, and quite a few people got let go, and I was one of them. And at the time, it was terrifying and scary. Trying to think how we were gonna, manage. We needed two incomes to support, and two small kids at home. How are we gonna do it all? But it was kind of the kick in the pants that I needed to start on my own. So that was about 10 years now, and I haven't actually looked back. I had another child in between, so I have three kids now.
Oh,
And it's been a roller coaster, a lot of ups and downs. I did start off as a freelance designer. So I was, the Jill of all trades. You need that Swiss Army knife and I have all the things that you need me to do. I can do them all because I've worn so many hats working in corporate, that I was able to do print production. I was able to do magazine publication, catalog design, any marketing collateral that you needed. I could do it all. But what I realized is that people would come to me for a brochure to be designed, but they didn't have the basics. They didn't have, their logo, the colors, the fonts, the imagery. And this was a repeat occurrence. So I noticed a lot of small business owners needed help with that foundation. They needed help with building that foundation that they didn't start with because they just started with their business and they didn't have those things set. But now they know they needed marketing collateral to promote themselves, but they didn't have those basic necessities of, colors, fonts, imagery, and then the strategy part of things. Well, who is this for? I realized I'm a visionary. I always like to think of the bigger picture. Why are we creating this piece? What is it for? Who is it for? What is the end game? Like, what do you want them to do with it? Do you want them to call you, book a call, purchase the thing? So I was very much bigger picture and in depth when it came to it. And that's kind of took me on the path of the branding designer, brand strategist, because I knew it was a need for a lot of small business owners to have this foundation built for them. So that's kind of what led me to this.
It's a beautiful evolution from
Yes.
your job in an agency to understanding what the real helping small business owners, but then realizing the real need that they had that wasn't fulfilled and going into that. um no, yeah, it's great, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, for you it was more of a natural evolution, as you
Yeah,
said. Yeah. And although you didn't start as an entrepreneur, you had that in the back of your mind in maybe one day to become one. And then because of the redundancy, it came earlier than maybe you would have if you would have done it yourself voluntarily.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
mean, I started my first business when I got laid off as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a common trend. I've heard this one more and more again. It's like, well, if you can't beat it, you might as well figure something else out. And
exactly. I mean, you can look at it as, oh my God, what am I gonna become? And oh yes, let's see the opportunities. So definitely. And then I don't know about you, but after a while, after a few years as being self-employed, it feels a bit difficult to go back to being an employee somewhere, right?
uh, I can 1,000% agree with you. I just can't imagine myself working for anyone else other than my clients. I've actually tried because I thought, oh, okay, consistent money and consistent pay, and try just the thought of getting back into it. But and I even applied, and I like was on like the final cut for the hires, and then I was like, no, what am I doing? I can do this. I can make this work, right? This was earlier on, but it's like, no, I'm going to make this work. And even though it's not easier, I know it's for the best, right? So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yes.
Okay. So tell us a bit more about your clients and the transformation they go through. So they come to you and they are pivoting, rebranding, they are in need for your services. And what's the transformation? What's the process, and how long do they typically work with you? And how are they on the other side?
For sure, for sure. So a lot of the times I help my clients with, because there's a lot of confusion and noise, and they know that they want, sometimes they have a lot of data and they have a lot of knowledge. Like they know, fair enough of who their target audience is. They know the service that they want to offer, and they know, or the services they want to offer. But sometimes it's just getting clarity on how to package it together and how to present it to them. And that's essentially what I do. I help them with, the first thing I help them with is positioning, right?
Yeah.
So not having direction on their positioning and their messaging, who they're speaking to and what they're going to say to them, to now understanding and knowing exactly what to say, how to say it, and who you're saying it to. Like really defining and honing in on their positioning in the marketplace where they want to stand, right?
So are you also helping them with the copywriting part?
So what I do help them with is extracting their own words and bringing them to the forefront of, okay, so if this is the audience that you're speaking to, if it's, for example, corporate executive moms that are facing burnout, that have, teenage children, then using that language when you're speaking to that audience, you're calling them out directly, right? So it's just using their own words, but extracting it from the sea of stuff that they've given me. And then I go in and I pull out the important parts.
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then also pulling out their superpower, because sometimes people don't realize how amazing they are and what they're capable of. And then I always advise them, if you have testimonials, go back and read them. Because I find testimonials are true to the sense of your skill set. And sometimes clients will say, I love the way they helped me with this. And that's something you don't even pay attention to, because that's like second nature to you, right? But
Yeah.
to them, that was a big deal. So it's extracting their superpowers and again, bringing that to the forefront. So when I help them with their branding, so I'm a stickler for having key indicators underneath their logo. People call it a tagline or keywords. Just really highlighting what it is that you do and who you serve, so it's crystal clear. And being direct right now is very important, right? Because
So,
in this
so
day and age of
important.
all the noise, yeah, it's yeah. So positioning, that's kind of what I help them with. Yes.
Yeah, it's very important. And I agree with you that often our superpowers, we are the last one to know what they are because they come naturally to us and because it doesn't require any effort on our side. So we're like, how is that my superpower? Well, simply
Mhm.
because it's natural, right?
Exactly, exactly that. And then sometimes too, some clients will have past experiences, and if they're starting their business and they've been in 2 years now, but they worked as a corporate executive for the past 10, 15 years, that holds water. That has molded and shaped you to what you are right now. Or if you have a psychology background and now you're a business coach, well, let's tap into that. Let's bring that to the forefront, because that is what's going to make you unique. That's the extra bit that the other people don't have. So let's make sure that you don't hide that. Let's bring that out and release it. So that's kind of what I enjoy doing for my clients, to help them with
Okay, great. And
that.
then if they need more, you can help them with their website and things like that as well.
Yeah. So with the other kind of transformations, I have two more. So the other one is consistency. So from them constantly tweaking and changing colors, and picking new fonts each time, and putting a new image each time, because they're never content and never happy. Which, like, I have a post that just says "Stop tweaking." It's one of those things that is just, it causes brand confusion, right? So if you had lime green and orange, and now you're using pink and purple, like, they don't know what to see next, right? It's not creating that consistency. So creating the palettes and creating the imagery and creating the fonts, they now have the tools to move forward, and they know exactly what colors to use, what images to use, what fonts to use. So consistency is another transformation. And then the final one is confidence. It's funny, they don't come to me for this one, but they tend to leave with this
Oh,
when
that's
we're
beautiful.
done. And it is a beautiful one, and that's why it's like, I love hearing that, because it's something that it allows them the confidence to reach out to that business owner they would never have reached out to. But now with their branding behind them, they feel invested and they feel like they're all in their business. And now they have permission is granted, so that they can go out and ask for that sale, or they can charge their worth as well. That's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
important thing. Because when you appear professional and you appear invested in your business, you can now ask that superior dollar for
Yeah,
your
yeah.
services, right?
Yeah,
um
so it's like by working with you, they scaled up
yes,
or something like that.
yes, that's the end game. Usually that's always the end game, is that they're leveling up. And what I love is, I always ask my clients to give me, tell me the competition of where you aspire to be, like 2 to 5 years from now. And they tell me where it is, because I don't want them to tell me where they're at or where they kind of want to go. I want to know, like, 5 to 10 years from now, where do you aspire to be? And what I do is, I already place them at that level with their branding and their messaging. So now they are able to play at that level right away. They don't have to wait. So that's the beauty of up leveling your brand and your business.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Great. So, and how long do you typically work with your clients
Yeah,
for?
so it's the branding package is about 4 to 6 weeks. It's pretty intensive, but it's
Yeah.
mostly me just getting feedback from you. But I do research development. I'm old school. I have to sketch out my ideas to extract them out of my brain, and then I present them the digital polished variations to choose from. And then I create the brand board and the other branding elements they receive as well. So it's usually about a 4 to 6 week process.
Okay. Okay, that's quite quick, but it feels indeed intensive to deal with all you talked about. So,
Yes, yes. it's the system and the process that I've had that I've pretty much streamlined it so that we can basically, instead of what would take you 6 to 12 months to beyond to get it to mediocre results, in 4 to 6 weeks we have your brand complete, done and launched, and you love it at the end, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect because at the same time, when you go into such a process of rebranding, you want to be immediately on the other side because you want to have that ready so that you can go out and reach out to prospects and so on.
Yes.
So it's also very, it's great that it takes a relatively short amount of time as well.
Mhm.
Completely. Okay.
Mhm.
So next question would be, so for people, just say like me, who pivoted her business a few months ago. So what advice could you give me, or what tip could you give me? Where would I start?
That's a great question. So I've kind of divided it into three. So the first tip would be, give yourself like a mini audit. So I would really take a look at your current efforts and know what your future goals are, and see if those efforts are in alignment with those goals, right? Like if everything, the trajectory and the plan is going to help you achieve those goals. And if you feel like something is off or that it's not leading you towards the end game goals, then that's something that you should take a look at and revisit and pay closer attention to. There are like a few tools that I have, a couple freebies, if it's okay to just mention them to you as well.
Yeah, sure. And I will give the details in the comments of the video so that people can reach out to you. Of course, yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. So the first one is like, it's a free guide and checklist. So, if this is something you can do yourself and it's very easy, there's like 6 questions, and it's a free logo guide and checklist to see how effective your branding is at attracting your ideal audience. And it gives you with a score. It leaves you with a logo score, and it has some great baseline, things that you should check in with your branding to make sure that you're meeting this particular criteria when it comes to your logo and your brand. So that's the free logo guide and checklist, and that one is available to your audience, and happy to send it to them. And
Okay.
then the other item I have, and I offer for those that are serious about their branding and do want to get to the next level but feel stuck, is a free mini branding audit. So one-to-one approach where I take a deeper dive into your business, into where you're at and where you want to be. And then we uncover what's kind of holding you back or keeping you stuck or making you feel like you can't get up to that next level. And then I can give you a plan or the steps to, what the best next steps for you to take are for your business moving forward. So at least you have an idea of what you can be doing next. So that's the one-on-one approach, and that's called a mini branding audit. And I'll offer it to
Okay.
your audience as well. Yeah.
Oh, great.
And then the third tip is, the second tip is to pay attention to those signs. I think we kind of touched upon it, but signs are like, if you have just recently pivoted your business, or you're attracting the wrong audience over and over again, you keep on attracting the wrong audience, there's a misalignment happening in your business there. Or if you want to reach a brand new audience that you've never reached before, then that's something to pay attention to, where a rebrand might happen as well. So pay attention to the signs of where a rebrand is necessary, because what has worked for you to get until this point might not necessarily work for you to get to the next point in your business.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the second tip. And then the third tip is, if you're just starting out, so you're a brand new business, the first thing I tell you is just begin. Done is better than perfect. And coming from a branding designer and perfectionist, it's a hard thing to say, but I will 100% agree with it. Just get out there, just begin, learn, fail, get back up, do it again, and continue, and tweak that cycle and do it again, right? Like that's what you need to be doing. And then the KISS rule, keep it simple. I like to say Sally instead of stupid, but the KISS rule: select 1 to 2 fonts, select 1 to 2 colors, select 1 to 2 supporting imagery, and showcase that consistently. like maintain that and continue to post that continuously until you're ready to get, hire someone or invest in branding or really dive deeper into your branding. Create that stability and that consistency when you're first beginning. So that would be my third tip for those starting out.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This is really interesting, and for me, really fascinating, because I'm not in that at all. It's not my area of expertise at all. So that's why I so love having experts like you to give us some pointers and yeah, tell us about what you do. Thank you so very much. Yes, as I said, I am going to put your links together with the video, and I really enjoyed our chat together today. And well, I am sure that everybody who's been watching and who's gonna watch the recording will enjoy it as well. So
Thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much, Maria.
Thank you, Madeline. This has been so much fun. I truly appreciate you, and thank you for inviting me here.
So thank you everybody for watching, and see you soon for another episode. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.